All right, you guys head out. As you approach where the the path of the Polaris, you try to locate it. This is about a couple hours later. In the distance, just off of its path, heading more north than it was in its original southwest, you see two ships encircling each other, locked in what looks like combat. This is a larger scouting vessel for the Empire, maybe the size of the Corvid, roughly. And you see that there is a pretty capable captain behind the wheel.
Well, Aiden, look, this is gonna be your call. How you want to deal with it? I mean, obviously we've got to deal with it with some way, shape, or form. So, this is your call. How you want to go about this?
Right. Well, I think we just go. We have to help him. This captain that he's facing off against seems capable, but we catch him off guard, or even just outnumbered, then we might win the day.
Fair enough. 2 against 1 is much better than 1 against 1.
All right, crew, full speed ahead. As you approach, you do seem to catch it off guard a bit, but not as much as Aiden was really hoping for. It seems that the Polaris is taking more advantage of the situation than you are by coming in as a surprise. This seems to have almost overwhelmed the other ship, being like, fuck, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, well, I could imagine they shift their entire focus onto us instead of the Polaris.
It's at least they have to change up their movement so that they're not facing weak side to a larger opponent, because the Blue Jay is, again, wider than most other vessels within.
It's a choke.
It's a little bit of a choke. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So you take that opportunity to just kind of cut the space between the Polaris and this Imperial vessel, where the Polaris then uses your wake to almost go up and then down, gaining a bit of speed, then getting next to this other ship. The Polaris throws boarding hooks onto this vessel and begins to board. You see that there apparently was a cannon on this Imperial vessel, though, as it fires out directly into the second layer of the Polaris. The cannonball actually exits from, just possibly there being lack of obstruction in between where the projectile entered and exited. So you see now Gavitus is at the helm. And he is currently directing more than he's acting, which, captains do all the time. Aiden very quickly takes advantage of the situation and throws his boarding hooks over and has his crew start to deal with below deck to take out the cannon, which happens very, very deftly. Aiden, again, as you're kind of watching from your crow's nest, Corvid's nest, you take shots every once in a while, just kind of making a path along with Lady. After 15 minutes of fighting and searching and clearing and tying up, with the sheer number of what was on your side, you managed to beat these Imperial soldiers. The start of the battle, Aiden had 26. He now has 20. The Polaris had a crew of 40. They now have a crew of 34. The Imperials are left to their last 7, as 23 of them were killed. So Gavitas will approach both of you at this point. Yeah, good timing. We were in a bit of a dire strait there.
We intercepted a bit of information that led us here.
Any specifics on that information? We can talk in our captain quarters if you'd wish, but we should probably deal with these soldiers first.
We absolutely should.
So, it seems the Gavitas has kind of taken over the interrogation, and Aiden is like watching like a hawk to see like mannerisms, to see everything that Gavitas is doing. Gavitas stands very broad. He's a skinny guy, but like his size alone is intimidating because he's just really tall. It's like 6'6", so standing over like a common height person would be pretty intimidating. You see he takes a long sword off of his back and starts just kind of like dragging it as he walks up towards the group of soldiers before sticking it in the ground and kind of leaning against it, just kind of casually. So, what do we do with all of you? Silence from the Imperials. Alright, which one of you's in charge? Again, no response. He takes his sword out, and puts the point of it to the neck of one of them. And he'll say, "It'd be a real shame if this was the one who was supposed to be in charge." And he'll just kind of like press a little bit to see blood drawing out. Now, if the actual person in command would like to step forward, maybe spare this guy's life. One of them will answer, "Yes, it is me. I guess I'm the last one to assume command in a situation like this. Just from veteran status alone." Right. Alright. Well, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna take you prisoner. Your ship is going to be taken and sold. And anything that is personal on yourselves, you can keep. But any gold you have, that's ours. Understood? The Imperials just kind of nod. Oh, and that cannon, thank you for the donation. The prisoners start getting led down below, and Gavitas will hand you guys a small bit of gold. About 150. It's not really tiny, but that's 50 more than what you just made in the other raid. He'll say, I'm not going to get to thank you for the sale of the ship right away, or the dropping off of the prisoners for ransom. So consider this a down payment. You'll be getting a cut of us selling this ship off.
We would appreciate it, but it's not necessary.
Oh, I understand, but trust me, we would have had a bit more trouble and probably lost a couple more men. I was really trying to avoid that cannon, and it was getting harder and harder to do so.
Your men look very capable.
They're pretty good. A bunch of them are Seguridad residents, born and raised. We've got good stock in our pirate blood. Shut up. We've got a lot of skills within our crew. All from living on Seguridad, and no other reason.
We appreciate it. We just, we'll share with you the details, as we did with the captain of the Arrow as well. They're tracking our movements, and we just so happen to end up with a good amount of that information that we needed to be able to help out and come to the aid of those who are in need of it. So we're on the way to save our own hides. The Corvid is on that list, so we figured, well, we might as well head after that, but hit any that we could on our way to the Corvid. So
of course. If you want to stick around for the ransacking, we may be able to find more information. This seems to be more of a command vessel than it is just a standard schooner.
Yeah, it'd be lovely to find out any more information we could.
Of course. Please come with me. And he heads off to the captain's quarters of this ship.
Okay, I think Sid hangs back just a little bit.
Sure.
And he hangs back a little bit. He says to Aiden, look, this is a fine example of captain, and like I said, it's all about how you figure it out, right? But
Right.
you see here another, this is a quite a aggressive take on it, but it works just the same, right? I may hide my terror and my ability to terrorize behind some smooth talking and jovialness, but this is what it looks like when it's straight on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, watching and trying to see like what he was doing that was a bit different because I've only seen Abraham and Yul. We never really got involved with other ships when I was part of the crew. So, it's good to see other tactics to see like what works. I'm almost finding like I'd like to be as confident as he is, but also have like the unfettered chaos that you all have, where you just nothing is going to ever be the same.
Exactly. See, that's the thing is you got to find your own. But hey, look, I gotta say, you do work quite well with Lady and I. We have a little. We kind of all fell into our own little thing here that works quite well in combat. I do really have to say.
Yeah. You see Aiden starts to kind of like turn a bit red, as though embarrassed or
you're
just
a good
blushing.
fighter.
Well, thank you. And you're a great shot.
Well, thank you.
Right. So, the and he just kind of like points at the captain's quarters and then just walks.
After you, Aiden.
Right. Okay. So he'll walk in and he'll just kind of start looking around. Gavitos is searching as well. You just kind of like, passively look. Gavitos is fucking lost. He has no fucking clue what's going on. He finds a nail and is like, this may be something. And just
he stares out the window.
Stares out the window, arms crossed behind his back, looking out. Aiden actually finds a false bottom to one of the drawers in the captain's desk. Inside are more detailed orders from what you have. So comparing them, you see like where whoever was in charge, which is probably the captain of this ship, took one part out that seemed to be just what he got and just basically copy pasted in a way. So as you look at that part that was cut and paste out, you see a bit more about the Corvid and the report that came with that. Just says last seen stealing ship in sea meat. Please advise caution while looking for this vessel. They are extremely dangerous and willing to kill. If seen, do not engage. Call for backup.
They think we're quite dangerous. That's a lovely thing to see.
Well, I agree. It's funny, actually. I think you all have barely killed any Imperials, except for that one thing at the one island. But
Yeah. Look, it's better to have a reputation than not. So
true. Very true. All right. So, what else does it say here? You just kind of like look at the descriptions of what's happening on the other ship's fronts, and it's just like it's a lot of like last seen reports. But from what you can tell, based on prior behavior of the Empire, it seems that they're now taking this more seriously than they were before. As part of all of this documentation, you guys find a map to an Imperial intelligence headquarters. It's a map that's listed, like it's in a sealed envelope with wax that needs to be broken to look through, and it says, in the chance of the captain's death, the first mate should open and read before burning.
I open and read and don't burn.
Of course. You find the map.
Yeah.
It's on a small island, one of the unlisted islands. So, Haven is here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Imperial Intelligence Center is here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on that small island.
Yeah.
Right
And then the Corvid itself is on Gilligan. Gilligan. Yeah, Gilligan.
Right now, I'm trying to do like a hand target is here. Corvid's there.
Yeah.
The ship is up here,
Yeah.
but crew's
Yes.
down here.
Yeah.
Haven is here. And when they came into the islands, they came from this direction.
Yeah.
That, like, coming from here, going that way.
Yeah. Given that we know that they're planning on intercepting the Corvid and all of that, does it look like we have time to get to the intelligence base?
It seems that their like information on the Corvid is so loose of like, hey, coming from Seameat heading east, so probably heading back to the islands. So it doesn't seem like super necessary for you to have to go.
Yeah.
But that's up to you. That's what you call.
Aiden, I know I have said that this is. I have said that it's your right to choose where this ship goes, but I'm going to put in my weight right now and say we should go to that intelligence base, ransack it here with our friend Captain Gavitas, and gather whatever information we can, because there's a likelihood that they will know that we have this information.
Right.
If we don't act on it right now.
Agreed. Okay. And so I should mention, you guys are pretty close to that island because you're on that side, because you were coming from Seameat as well.
Yeah.
So you're on that side of the Scar and on that side of the Kraken's Pass. So you do have the opportunity to get there pretty quickly. Aiden will say, Kitten, you didn't need to give me that. I was already going to suggest it. That seems too good to be true.
Captain Gavitas, would you mind accompanying us to another fight?
Not at all.
It seems this intelligence base may be in need of ransacking, liberation, whatever it is that we deem necessary when we get there.
I completely agree with you. Let's head there now. That could be more valuable than anything that we stole here today. I'll just get a couple of my men on this ship, and have them go off to try and sell it in Haven, hopefully.
What if we use this ship as a distraction on our way in?
That could work. All right. Well, maybe we'll get another ship when we're there distracting them, because there's probably going to be some.
At least a few, I would guess.
You can only hope. But then again, we need to think, does the ship have tracking on it?
That's a good question. I don't necessarily know the answer to that.
Well, we were in battle with them for a long enough period that they could have sent out a warning. In fact, we should probably get moving. Maybe we light the ship on fire, starting in the captain's quarters, so it looks like the first mate read it and then burned it and died.
That's a brilliant plan, I think.
All right. Well, sorry you won't get the cut of the ship, but should be fine.
It's okay. I wasn't counting on it anyways. I much prefer burning ships anyways.
Fair enough. All right. I'll get the men on it. And you can help, obviously, to your heart's content.
I've had my fair share of fire.
Right. And he walks away because he doesn't know what to say to that.
Says the half-burned man.
Yep, that's what he was like. Oh, fuck. you get to work on that, getting the black powder set so you can make a little like Looney Tunes ass trail that leads into the captain's quarters. And you let the ship burn. So are you burning the papers with it, or are you just going to take them with you?
I think we marked the island on our maps. I don't think there's any other information that we probably need, right?
Probably not.
Yeah, I think we just marked the information on our maps, and I think we burned the map with it.
Okay. You and Gavitas head out. It takes you guys about the entire evening into very late night to get to the island. You see a small building that is right on the tree line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really super visible from the water. The island itself is like very rocky with like a beach. The rest of the island is just kind of like really overgrown. Not a lot of game trails that you can see. So this beach seems to be like a landing spot. And like I said, you see the building with a little bit of smoke coming out of a chimney.
I almost wonder if it's best to approach this from a stealthy approach. If we do, from multiple angles with an overwhelming force coming from the darkness, it probably would eliminate any ability of them to get away and or alert others.
I don't completely disagree with that.
What's your idea? It sounds like you disagree.
I like the majority of your plan. The one thing I'm not a fan of is bringing multiple people. I think that we should have a small team go in first, catch them by surprise, and then while we catch them by surprise, the others rush in. I just think bringing too many people is gonna, maybe cause a bit of a ruckus.
Yeah, a wonderful plan. We're doing it. Let's go.
All right, we're going. Aiden grabs a couple of the guys, most of which were on the Corvid. Gavitas grabs a couple of his guys, and you guys get set to go. Taking a dinghy to the beach, you guys silently exit and make your way towards the tree line where the building is just beyond some of the more... how do I describe it? Like, a lot of the trees grow super close together on this island, it seems.
Yeah.
Just creating like a massive canopy overhead.
Mm-hmm.
And where in some spots it's pretty hard to traverse, this building seems to be on one of like the looser groupings of trees, so you can easily get through. So as you guys make your way towards the building, you see this, like, it's not huge. It's maybe like a one family home sized building. Single floor. And it's just kind of like a cabin. It's not until you see the ketchup walk outside in his red coat that you realize that this is not just someone's vacation home. And he's just kind of like whistling while like whittling at, a wood carving. So Aiden will kind of like nudge you and draw one of his daggers.
Go for it. I'll cover you.
He's going to deal just barely, actually. He was like literally one above. Enough damage to completely take this guy out. So just knife plunged right into his back, where his heart would be, as Aiden covers his mouth and drags him off into some of the brush. As you take a look inside of the house, you see it's like set up like a home, like a cabin, very open floor plan.
Uncomfortably like a cabin, like...
Yeah, like it's trying to be a cabin.
Yeah. I think we could go for it. It seems a little eerie that there's no one here otherwise. I think we should be worried that maybe there's more to it than we're currently looking at.
Oh, I agree. Gavitas will say, "I'm just along for the ride." And Aiden will say, "Do you want point on this one?"
Sure, why not?
All right. So how do you bust into the room?
I think. What was the front door unlocked?
Yeah, the guy came right out of it.
Okay, yeah. I think Sid and Lady together, like side by side, will slowly, creep into the room, looking around. I want to like just get a general vibe of like, is something in specific off?
Um, it's kind of hard to tell. Like this whole situation seems weird, so like trying to
Mhm.
find weird in the weird is like
Yeah,
overriding your brain a little bit.
yeah.
Aiden will take a look. Kaiten, what about that? And he points to, out of all of the chairs that are perfectly placed at this one table, one of them is askew.
Oh, how the hell could I miss that? And Sid goes over and just scooches the chair.
Sure. As you do, you hear a click, and where one of the cabinets is on the kitchen wall, a door opens with a steel ladder leading down through a hole.
All right, I guess I did say I'll take point. So, Sid like looks over the edge, like looking down the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And do I
You
see anything
hear. You don't see anything, but you do hear the scratching of like multiple quills on paper or parchment.
We have two choices. One, we can light it on fire down there and just walk away and destroy whatever intelligence that this base was providing, or we are in for a fight. I'll leave it up to a group vote. How about that?
Sure. I'm down to fight. I'll go in first, even. Aiden will say, well, I think that, the information is important. I think we should get it.
Sid looks at Lady,
Urph.
which I know means fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, I guess there's no need in me voting here. I guess we're fighting.
All right. I'll go in first. And Gavitas just like runs over to the ladder and then just jumps down. Aiden will say, "Oh shit! All right," and he'll just run and slide down, like put his like arms on the side and his feet on the side, and just kind of like do the cool guy slide down.
And then Lady and Sid follow behind.
All right. So you guys break into this intelligence center where you see tables that are completely empty except for, and by tables I mean desks, like work desks, like angled for writing at an angle and being more comfortable, ergonomic, if you will. You see quills floating as ink is just kind of being written onto these bits of parchment. They are all copying something. And they're like all of these are being copied about collectively 10 times each. At the far end of the room, you see that there is one person behind a desk who has a sending slate, and almost seems to be too distracted by the messages that he's hearing and seeing that he does not even notice you.
If we do the old 1-2 combo, Aiden, I think that we could possibly, take him out before he notices anything.
Agreed. I think we move now, though. And he'll pull out one of his daggers again and just start like rushing towards the guy.
Yeah, and Sid just pulls up the musket and levels it, like just kind of standing plain in sight in the room.
Sure. So as Aiden gets close to him, he'll say, "Right, stop right there." Oh. Hey. He like puts his dagger completely down. "Captain, come check this out." As you walk over to this guy, you see that like his eyes seem to just not be staying still at all. He has this glove on his hand that's like literally just little tendrils that kind of lace out from the palm and from the back. Well, I guess from the back of the hand, not really the palm. and his hand is just kind of like moving like this, as he's just not here. Like, it seemed like it was the slate, because like you can see it's a massive version of the one that you have. Like, his hand was touching, one hand is touching that, and the other one is doing the weird hand movement thing. But, you know, it seemed like it was just that distraction, but this dude's just like, he's not here.
Oh, Sid takes a knife from his belt and just fucking into the side of the guy. Like, into the side of the guy's neck.
Sure. So as you do that, you just hear like the choking of blood. The sending slate cracks and shatters. And all of the quills in the room drop.
Well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. And I go to take the glove off from his hand.
As you do, you are unable to. It seems to be like stuck to his hand, almost attached.
I lift up his hand and I start like moving his hand around a little bit. Did the quills also move at the same time?
They do not.
They do not. Oh damn! I thought I was going to be able to take whatever sick glove this is. Oh well. What are they writing?
So as you go and look, you see a couple of notices. This is specifically about pirates. A lot of what's being drawn are propaganda posters, but the things that are being written are reports, and there's like 3 desks that have reports. One report is attempting to get as much information and like asking ships to give as much information about pirate activity, where they've seen them mostly coming from. Seems that they're trying to locate Haven. The next desk has a report that Captain Abraham was last seen nearing Seguridad, like north of Seguridad. So to be cautious of that. The last one is a notice that catches your eye immediately upon like bringing yourself to it, where it says ambush of Corvid, get to these coordinates.
Oh shit. We were heading that way, but damn it. All right, well, I guess we need to head that way no matter what. and yeah, yes. All right, well, Aiden, Gavitas, I guess I personally have one more favor to ask of all of you, because I don't know how many know of this already. It seems like there's a specific ambush on the Corvid, and I only ask you, Gavitas, to return the favor, and you, Aiden, to protect your cabins.
Gavitas will say, "Hey, I think I can speak for both of us when I say you don't need to say another word." And Aiden will chime in and say, "Of course, we're with you. This is
it looks like, yeah.
This is one of us, and it's us."
It looks like I don't have time to figure this out, and Sid swiftly cuts off the guy's hand, so he has the like fucking.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, he cuts it off, and then like he takes the remaining pieces of the sending stone. I don't know. One of those smart Tempest might be able to figure out something about whatever the hell this is, and he just kind of like scoops it all into a bag.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it takes the information about Abraham.
So as you're packing everything up and getting everything ready, you see that there is one line at the bottom of the notice about the Corvid that you just didn't pick up before. This, after poring over the information, making sure that you read everything right, this one little bit just never stood out to you until you finally get to it, where it says, "Information is good. Spy amongst their ranks." And that's where the adventure of Sid and Aiden come to a close.